focusing?
Why is it not focusing?
Why is it not focusing? Oh no.
We're live. I don't see our feed though. We don't have a feed.
At the same time.
We're supposedly live, but we don't have a feed. Guys, welcome to Pop Culture Renegades. Toku Kids here.
Listen for the voice.
We have one. It must be populating viewers, I guess.
I guess so. There it is. 3.
As you may have guessed, we are going to be talking about any and everything tonight.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss.
We do.
That Jezzer Party audio.
And my apologies for being unprofessional when the show started, y'all, and being on my phone, but I was following up on that lead story.
Yeah.
And since then, there's been some new developments that we may have to report on. So,
this has literally become TMZ, guys.
Yeah. It's the TMZ of that hashtag show.
Give us a report.
So, earlier
than drink a cup of coffee.
So,
what do you got?
earlier tonight, we saw an interesting video. If you haven't seen it, go follow at Jezzer Zeus and take a look at his live story. You'll see an interesting video there. But recently, we just said that Jezzer Zeus had a family get-together, a family gathering, if you will, and there seemed to be some drifting going on, some drifting go-kart racing.
Yeah.
And next to him, he was asked the question, wait, why isn't she going faster? And then there's a voice. A voice next to him that said, because blah, blah, blah. Now you'll be wondering, who is that because of blah, blah, blah? Justin, do you know who that because blah, blah, blah came from?
Someone who's not here, but who's usually here.
That's true. Joseph, do you know who that because blah, blah, blah came from?
I don't.
Daniel, do you know who that because blah 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 came from?
I don't know. It's pretty spicy.
Is it
It's spicy. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but
it burns.
but it's like caliente.
Would you say this person is saying that cosplay is a big thing?
Cosplay can be for this person.
Can
Maybe
be.
this person's done it
I
before.
would say this person's an East Coast native. They love the New Jersey area.
Man.
Cat?
Oh,
Close.
close. Guys, put that and just think about that for a bit.
So do us all a favor. Go and follow at Jezzer Zeus and send him a message that says, go Jezzer, go Jezzer, go.
That's it.
Go give us some support, everybody.
That's it.
Layla asks if it's Miggy.
Wait,
What? Layla! Layla! What? Are you Batman? Are you the world's greatest detective? Are you just out here solving mysteries, Layla? I'm not going to say anything.
Wow.
But that's close. That's darn close, Layla.
Hello, detective.
This is going to parlay us right into this next subject. So one of the things I first want to talk about are hashtag show ships.
Ooh. Hashtag show
This
ships.
is a little bit of a taboo
Hashtag
topic
show
because I don't
ships.
think we've really dove into this.
Nope.
But Daniel, as he takes a big giant gulp of vodka. Let's start with you.
What?
Because your prom date
Oh, my prom date.
isn't
yes.
in your top 3. But, however, you were
Hey,
shipped.
your prom date is in your top 10.
My prom date?
Last time I checked, we're getting top 10 Rangers.
Oh, these got controversial and real.
that wasn't a
These
list
got
of
real,
top 10.
real.
Oh, what's that list of top 10? It was top 10 people that you want to see come
that's
back,
wrong.
right?
That's good. Yeah. No,
Right,
it's
right.
top 10 people that I think should be on the anniversary episode.
Oh, you think should be?
Yes.
So,
Wow.
But I already told you guys
wait,
why.
but that person was on that list.
That person was,
Was
not
not.
on that list.
Cold.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the reason being is because she was
Cold-blooded.
just on the last anniversary episode. So it's time to spread it out.
Yeah, Tommy's
Spread
been-
it out a little bit.
Tommy's been on every
You don't
one.
want to oversaturate. You know what I
Tommy's
mean?
pretty much
But what
been
was
on
your
every
excuse?
I told you
So-
straight. By the way,
one.
everybody.
Tommy's pretty much been on every one, but yet he's still
So
on
let-
every
And I will say this: if anybody's wondering how to give like a spin to an answer, yo, Joseph,
right there,
that's a
huh?
master class right there. That should be like that master class on Facebook. It's like, have you ever been put into a difficult situation? Have you ever been asked a question where you know you're wrong, but you didn't get out of it? I'm Joseph Deckelmeyer. I'll teach you how to give the right answer to get you out of every problem.
Hi, I'm Joseph Spinner Rudy Deckelmeyer. Hey, when you need to spin it, I've got you. Like,
I might spin it.
I'm the five-time spinner Ruby champion
Wait a
of that
minute.
hashtag
You
show.
haven't even attempted to answer.
I would
With
hate
that spin right there.
You know what? I have so much respect for her that I would hate to objectify her in a way.
But
that
you
she would
objectified the other 3.
because she would disagree with.
So the other 3 are.
No, I said in a way that she would disagree with. That's what I'm saying. And that is a way. That is a way in which she would disagree with. So I knew better than to go ahead and put her
That's
into
such
that.
bullshit.
Sorry, wait, was that a?
Woo!
That
Spin!
Thank you.
Good job, Daniel.
Thank you.
Not quite a spinner Rooney, but good spin
Okay,
though.
close,
Good spin.
yeah. I'm
That was that
getting
crossover move right there. It was like, oh, cross right there.
So wait a
my
minute.
God.
But I heard there's more add-ons to this. Is it becoming a love interest triangle? That's what I heard.
What?
What are you talking about?
Well, somebody went to get some shoes recently with someone.
Yeah, I don't want to say who that was because then Johnny's gonna get mad. Yeah, take that. Take that bitter lime.
All I would say is, in the current political climate, where black men should be coming together, we should not be tearing each other down. We should be building each other up. So, as a fellow black male, I just want to say I am disappointed in you and what you're doing right now. I will leave it at that.
Political debate right now. And so yeah, Johnny, Daniel, why don't you hit him with the hard hit? Just be a journalist right now.
I'm just saying that you went you went shoe shopping, you know, and you took someone. We were kind of like, oh hey, who's that? What's going on? What's yeah, you went shoe shopping with someone.
How good's that line?
How did that happen?
It's delicious.
How did that happen? Who called who? Was it you and a said person, or what happened?
So let me just throw some questions out there. So you're implying that by taking said person shoe shopping or going shoe shopping with said person, I may have been having some romantic interest.
Well, let me ask you.
So are you implying that?
I'm not implying anything. I'm just asking what happened.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. Today, I took Daniel shoe shopping. So the exact same thing that happened with Daniel happened with that person.
The exact Johnny?
Exact same thing.
I don't know if it's the
Check. Mate. Whatever, producer Josh.
I'm just saying someone may have noticed something when he
Somebody may have noticed something.
Notice what? Huh? Notice what? What?
From you, listen. You told me.
I was the one sucking on lines a minute ago. What are you guys calling about?
You said that you consider shoe culture your family. Now Jezzer just went out to his family.
I said shoe culture was my family.
Just me to his family.
Yeah,
today,
that happened after the fact though, because he wanted to take a magical person on a magical ride.
Woo!
Really?
That's what you said.
I don't think that's what he said.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I do not have a magic carpet. I was never a street rat. I am not taking people on magical rides here. Nor do I have a genie. The closest thing I have a genie is to an angry producer who throws crap at me all the time. Screw you, producer Josh.
What was going to talk about magical? Is anyone going to say how great Winnie the Pooh is, or Tony? What was that movie?
Christopher Robin.
Wait.
Tony Robbins. I thought Tony Robbins.
Wait a minute.
Because I was thinking about Tony Robbins.
Slip somehow.
No, I was thinking about Tony Robbins.
A word.
Wait. One second. Before we change the subject here, we're throwing everybody into the fire. Joseph's been thrown to the fire. He spent his way out. Dan was thrown to the fire. He crossed his way out. I was thrown to the fire. I checkmate it. Let's go down there to Justin.
Yo, what's up?
Justin, what's happening with you?
In terms of what?
Who's your
Oh no.
who's your hashtag show crush?
Yeah.
What is that? What do you mean? What do you want?
So looking at that hashtag show and thinking about all the amazing people we get to work with on a daily basis, who is it that again, it definitely probably won't happen because it may be in a relationship or maybe unavailable or maybe in Korea, who knows? Who is it?
Wow,
that makes your heart? Who is it that makes your maybe heart flutter? Who catches your eye?
Hey, open opportunity, man. Open opportunity.
I knew that somebody was going to say that. I shipped Justin with Paula. I knew that.
Oh, Justin and Paula.
That's
a ship right there. I support that ship.
What was that?
What was that?
I don't know what that was.
Because I saw that coming.
Was that a sigh of relief or a sigh of, oh man, I can't believe this is a.
Yeah, is it finally
or is it a sigh? Is a sigh of thank God someone finally put it out there so I didn't have to. Paula, I have something to say.
He grabs the mic and goes right to the camera.
So I gotta go.
Paula.
Thanks for guys. You can find me on Twitter at JusticeKeyson.
Loop your revenge and I'm out. What's up?
These are how rumors start.
These are how rumors start.
Watch. We're gonna hear something later where the girls are like, "Great, the guys get on, and this is the first thing they do." And then when they get on, they don't talk about us at all.
Well, let's be honest. If the girls got on, it'd be just them fighting each other. I'm just kidding. I'm half kidding. I'm not kidding at all.
To protect the public image of that hashtag show, I will give no emotional reaction. I'll be quiet this time.
I'm kidding. The girls get along.
What was that?
He'll give no.
I like
no comment.
I like turtles. Oh God, I like turtles.
No, I would say like amongst our female talent and everything like that, they get along really well. There's like some solid friendships there. There's a couple who like hang out outside the shows and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's some solid like support going on.
Yeah.
There's some strong camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag show clicks.
There's cliques. Like there's the Henshin Bros. The Henshin Bros.
You guys hardly hang out outside of this. What are you talking
What are you talking about?
What you
Me and Jezzer are going tomorrow
what
to
about
buy
Justin
dope
here?
suits. Just as I bought a suit, he has 3.
Yeah.
See?
I bought his comic.
Well,
At
That's
Comic-Con. I support, man. I support.
And I read his comic online, which I was like, "Ooh, this is dope." But which, by the way, you can read for free right now online. Check
What was
it
that
out.
again? I could. Like, the price tag was really low.
I believe it was free 99.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
Free 99.
There you go.
Seriously,
There
kind
are,
of
there are
interesting.
definitely hashtag show clicks, huh?
Of course, like you and Daniel, you guys are the dynamic duo.
We hardly hang out outside
You
of this.
guys live together. You guys live together.
Yeah, but we barely hardly hang out. We really barely hardly.
Are you saying the show is your hangout time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's most of my hangout time with most of the people.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I have a busy life, man.
Yeah. I don't know. You're interviewing like Tigger.
I knew it.
Going to Paris and saying hey to Tom, hanging out with him. Oh, Henry, what? We're gonna play pool later. Blah blah blah. Oh, I'm too busy going to have pizza and talk about that freaking movie with everybody's quiet and goddamn.
Like to this, to this day.
I was gonna have a burn. And I forgot
Like to
what
this
the
day, I
fireplace-
still can't.
fireplace.
To this day, I still can't believe Joe got crepes with Angela Bassett. Like I still don't even know how that
I don't know
happened.
how that
But like literally,
Crepes
the
with
most
Angela
the
Bassett,
most
yeah.
surprising part of that story is the fact he ate crepes because he hates bread.
He hates bread.
Like yeah, I think he only did it because it was Angela
Yeah,
Bassett.
and he was like, well, this isn't really bread.
But no, seriously, Joe, how was
11.
Tigger? How nice was Tigger in real life?
Yeah.
Was he like?
I don't want to ruin the magic for you guys, but Tigger's kind of an asshole.
What?
What?
That was hilarious.
Fucking do it.
That was hilarious. It was like, dude, he was doing coke off his own tail.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
No, I don't like bread. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe hates carbs.
It's not that I hate carbs. I like pasta.
Do you?
Yeah, I love pasta. I like rice.
But you hate pizza
I don't like pizza and I don't like bread. I don't like
and
sandwiches.
you don't like rice.
Yeah.
I do like rice.
But you like rice.
You say you like rice, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I literally just said I like rice.
Okay, I missed that part.
So yeah. So,
Well, why is
speaking of
Jez's
chips, hold
name
on.
up here?
You did sidestep that. Do you think
I
that would
did.
be?
Oh, because if anybody wants to know what Jester's up to right now, why he's not a member of
Go to
the
at
Tonight
Jezzer
Show,
Shoes. Yeah, that's
go
true.
to Ed Jezzer Shoe. Please, producer Daniel, please put that back, please.
Yeah, just leave it there, I
Thank
guess,
you,
man. I
thank
guess
you.
leave
Please,
it
people
there.
just need to know where they can find him at. Please go support Jezzer.
If y'all are wondering where he is, go ahead and make sure you follow him on Instagram and watch his story.
So Daniel, hypothetical for you.
Hypothetically.
If Jezzer, and this isn't about Jezzer at all. If you had to choose between Tony and Sarah, who would you choose?
Oh wow! Sarah is
these
a
are
great
tough
co-host.
questions.
Sarah's a great co-host with me. She's my on-screen wife. So that's what we She's like Taraji P Henson and my
Terrence Howard?
Yeah,
Is that who you're going with?
I'm just saying that's what people say. That's all.
So he's going with Sarah.
I'm just saying that's what people say. I don't know if that's an
So
answer.
Tony or Paula for you? Why'd your eyebrows freak out like that?
I was just like, because where did that come from?
Why'd
It
your
was
forehead-
Justin and Paula, but I don't know where that came from.
Why'd your forehead kind of?
I was like, what? How did that come from?
That's weird. But hold this microphone over this cup of water. Answer properly.
Did you see Johnny's face? You're like this.
He was like, wait, how did I wait? What? How? What? When?
So who would you choose? Who would you choose?
As a friend?
No, as
I choose
as
both.
a romantic interest. You got to choose one, man. The world's about to end.
Wait, what?
Don't worry,
Shit.
Joe's gonna answer.
It's the last day of Alderaan. This is the last question that we're doing like this, though.
All right.
Oh, last no,
yeah,
no, for Joe.
We're moving on.
You can't, no, you can't answer unless Joe answers.
No, go ahead.
In this moment, if I had
If
to
you
choose,
do this, he's not gonna answer.
I know. In this moment, if I had to choose, real talk. In this moment, if I had to choose, I would choose air conditioning because it is hot. It is hot in the
goes,
studio.
there it goes.
I
There
am
it
sweating.
goes.
It is
Hot.
terrible. I
I
would
second
choose
that.
air conditioning.
I think that's interesting because that's also what we call air conditioning.
say it.
That's your
Wait, what?
I knew
Wait,
he'd
what?
say something
Really good
like
answer.
that. I knew he'd say something like that.
So Justin,
Yo.
what got you into? I was going to go really wrong. Let me reformat that.
Please do. I was like, where are you going with this?
This is supposed to be called the pros and cons of Power Morphin.
And we are talking about none of that right now. We're talking about none of that right now.
It's not really the pros and cons of Power Morphicon. What it is, it's more of the areas in which Power Morphicon has succeeded where other cons have failed. I think that's where we really should talk about. I mean, first thing for me, number one, is this year we didn't have Stan Lee at Comic-Con. Now, Comic-Con, it's Comic-Con. When you think about comics, what is the name that you think of as far as comics?
Jack Kirby.
You think, exactly, Stan Lee. So, when you think that, you think...
And that's the problem.
You think Stan Lee would be at Comic-Con, but unfortunately he was unable to. When you think about Power Rangers, what is the name you think about?
We have a ship here.
When you think about Power Rangers?
Austin St. John.
Miggy Jezzer.
Miggy Jezzer, of course.
Kelly Sam.
Just wait, who's Sam?
You met Sam. Yeah, the funny thing about Kelly and Sam is they don't get along.
Yeah, they don't get along
that well.
They don't hate
I love how all the secrets of hashtags are just spilling out right now.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's After Dark, right? Daniel, Sarah.
Of course, I support Daniel Sarah all day. I mean, producer Josh would get mad at it because that's his bae.
Yeah,
real talk, like real life.
Oh my god!
Yeah, producer Josh.
So sorry about that. Like she is the reason he is employed right now. So.
This is gonna turn into WWE real quick when you think that chair starts flying.
I'm like, no bystander! And just run off the way.
Yeah, there's a few ships out there. A lot of people are shipping people. Sorry.
Oh wait, do they ship you with anybody?
Yeah.
Who they ship you with?
2 guesses.
Maverick.
What? Hey, Jimmy is a geek.
That was Maverick.
Thanks for the prom king.
Hey, damn. Is the video okay?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's just
all right. So listen, I got a question. All right, out of those 4 couples,
yes,
who deserved to be prom king and prom queen at Morphicon?
Cookie Spice.
No.
Cookie Spice.
A second.
agree.
A third.
Cookie Spice.
You don't know?
I'm gonna go Kelly and Sam. Shake things up a little bit.
Joe came here to rattle some cages.
So we can see 2 people go and be annoyed that they won. It's like, oh my god, let's get this over with.
But back to my point, what I will say is that Power Morphicon is winning as far as getting JDF. Who do you think about when you think about Power Rangers? You think
Austin
about the
St.
Green
John.
Ranger, you think about the White Ranger. You think
Are you
about
really a
Austin
Red
St.
Ranger
John.
guy
He
over
is a Red
Tommy?
Ranger
Austin
guy.
St. John.
Really?
So here's the thing. I'll keep it 100.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Is Tommy dope? Tommy is dope. But I was literally that kid that when the Green Ranger showed up and everyone was like, I like Tommy now. Tommy's my favorite. I was like, no, son. Loyalty since day one. Jason's the one who got us this. I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm not like those people who's like when the Clippers get good in LA, all of a sudden they start going to Clippers games, but then also when the Clippers get bad, they start going back to the Lakers when LeBron shows up. I'm not one of those people. I'm loyalty since day one. Jason was my favorite Ranger. When Tommy showed up, was he dope? Is he dope? Hell yeah. But I've always supported Austin St. John. And when he came back as the Gold Ranger, I was hella happy for that.
So I have a question for you then. How does it make you feel that he's written better in the comics than he actually was on the show?
Honestly, good. Because here's the thing. Let's be real. Is Austin St. John ever going to reprise his role as a Red Ranger? Or is Tommy ever going to reprise his role like an actual season, like with lines and whatnot? Probably not. But the cool thing about the comics are, like, that I review, like, when a new issue comes out, we put on that hashtag show. The cool thing about it is that we get to see that character development in the comics, and they're all way more fleshed out. Like, Tommy's fleshed out, Kimberly's fleshed out, Billy's fleshed out. Trini gets a lot of time that she's never gotten before, even on the TV show.
But you also do have to admit that Jason was not a good leader.
What do you mean?
Jason was the dude in the show that would be like, we're at 50% power. We got to fight anyway. Even when Zordon's like, that's not a great idea.
Wait, hold on, Jason. This may not be a good idea. Shut up, floating head. Let's go for it, guys.
Exactly. You know what I call that? I call that a hero. Someone who's going to put his life on the line for it to go good. But you know what? Sometimes stupid gets the job done. I'll be real. Superman ain't always the smartest. We know Batman's the smartest, but who be pushing planets? Who be punching out Darkseid? Superman.
But Superman is pretty smart. Let's be fair about that.
He's supposed to be.
Is he smarter than Batman?
No, but that's not.
I'm
just smarter than Wonder Woman.
Sexist, Joseph.
It's true.
I'm joking.
I disagree
Joseph
with you.
is not sexist.
I think that you are completely wrong. I think Tommy is by far a better leader. Yeah. If Jason was a better leader, he would have come back to Zeo as the leader.
Well, here's the thing.
Because Tommy said, you know what? I got a new costume, and guess what? This is my team now, bitches. That's pretty much what happened, right?
No, seriously. I won. One, I did not say that Jason was a better leader than Tommy. I did not say that. I said Jason was a good leader. I say he was better than anybody. Two, I remember that moment very clearly when Tommy comes flowing down from the ceiling like he's Jesus or whatever, comes touching down, touching stuff, turning to wine, everything like that. And then Zordon's like, Tommy, you are now leader of the Power Rangers. Me and Jason both had the same look on our faces. We were both like, the fuck?
No,
like, we couldn't get a one-on-one conversation, Zordon? We ain't supposed to have like an evaluation meeting? Like, and you about to put me out of public like this, homie? You about to put me out like in public like this? On Angel Grove, son. On Angel Grove, son. I ain't about to go down like that. And that's why 10 episodes later, Jason was like, I'm out.
But in fairness,
I'm out.
Jason, you're right. Jason's not the sharpest guy in the world because
no, I didn't. No, I did not say that.
The thing, and he goes. Are you satisfied with the new leader of the Cartoon? That's great. Like a fucking idiot.
No.
That's great because I tell you. No,
as he's smiling.
The reason it happened.
Thinking to myself, I'm a shitty leader anyway.
The reason he did that is because right then at that moment, I think he snapped. I think he did. He was like, he came down, here's your new leader. Are you happy with it? He was like, literally, you heard it. That's great.
See, that's how I read it.
No.
That's great.
That's great.
You ain't got no problem with
I'm gonna cut his break
whatsoever.
line. Yeah, like,
No, for me, it was like, all right, motherfucker. All right, I'm a smile right now.
He's like,
but as soon as we outside in the field, bitch, you better get his power stored in the fucking back.
Say as a Ranger,
welcome back, Tommy.
I wouldn't even say as a Ranger that Jason was better than Adam. Straight up facts, bro.
Oh wait, well let's do this really quickly. Let's do this really quickly because now we're talking about Rangers.
Okay.
Let's go down the line because we're all Power Rangers fan. Top 5 Rangers. Not Ranger teams. Top 5 Rangers. No order either, because we're gonna let's make this easy. Who are your top 5 Rangers?
Pick 5.
We'll start down there with Justin.
I'm with you, man, Jason.
Booyah. My man. Move, Joe. Go Rangers.
What's one?
What's your two?
I'm also gonna go Jason.
Oh, we're just gonna go one at a time.
No, that's good. We can do that.
I'm gonna go Jason, David, Frank, Tommy, the real Jason.
Swerve.
Right. Oh my god. Well, TJ.
All right. No, I like TJ. I like TJ.
Really? I can't put him in my top.
Really?
My 5.
Really?
I can't put him in my 5.
No, you're good. I'm looking at Joe. Really?
I mean, look. Anybody that kind of got demoted to me doesn't. I don't know if he would be in my top 5. Just saying, he did though.
Joseph, he got demoted because of racial reasons.
No,
He's the first black leader, and then all of a sudden, things go bad. And they would have kept Tommy in charge, but like, nah, brother, you gonna be blue. We would have made you purple, but we ain't had that outfit.
We're gonna teach you a lesson.
Mainly for this line of, we're gonna toss your salad.
Everyone's still gonna go over that. Yeah.
He said that.
No comment.
He did say that.
No
He did
comment.
say that.
All right, me. I'll save mine for later, but I'm gonna go Andros.
All right.
Andros is dope. Andros is a homie. Andros made the hard decision to kill Zordon, but save the universe. But to this day, he lives with that guilt.
So let's snake it. Go to what's your 4?
Andros is one mine, so that sucks. But yeah, Andros again.
I'm gonna say Kimberly.
Ooh.
God, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating it, but yeah, Kimberly.
All right, so we'll snake it back to me for 3.
Joe,
Oh, maybe that's wrong because I'm gonna have 3 picks and Johnny's only done 1 so far.
Yeah, I was supposed to do twice.
Yeah, so go.
Yeah, okay. All right. For me, I'm gonna go. Like here's the thing. Real talk. She gets overlooked because of how much time she was there, but she was a real linchpin to the situation. Like, the main reason why people were able to understand Billy is because of this character. And the comic, she's been a lot more fleshed out.
Yeah.
So for me, Trini.
Yeah.
Fair answer.
Good answer. Yeah.
Okay, so
go ahead and give yours real quick.
You have to give your 3.
Are we going through it right now?
Yeah,
I can do that right now. I gotta pick something that's not MMPR. Give me a second.
Wait, but if he gets the 3, he's gonna throw it off. Did you give your second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was my second one. So go to Daniel. He's the second one. They'll come back to me.
I already did my second. I gotta do my 3rd.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Go ahead.
We all good? Everyone clear?
Yeah, we're good.
Great. Fantastic. I'm gonna say... Can I say it's cheating? And I won't count them as 2 separate, but can I say Gem and Gemma?
Sure.
All right. Because they're a duo.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in your top 5 though.
I love them.
Well, I'm gonna go Dylan though from the same season.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Which one was Dylan?
The Black
Ranger.
The Black Ranger.
RPM
He was dope. He was dope.
Daniel.
Adam.
Yeah.
Respect. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
There you go, man.
For my 3rd pick, I'm gonna go to Ninja Storm. I'm gonna go to the Green Ranger.
Cam?
Cam, because he was smart. He built all the Zords.
He's an asshole.
He was an asshole, but sometimes he was right because they were fucking around until they got serious. And then when he became the Green Ranger and the Samurai, he gave them that work. They were fucking around till they got serious because he was right. He was like, "Y'all a bunch of fuck ups," and then they go out in the field and get the ass beat. See, I told y'all was some fuck ups. You need to listen to my dad. Then he listened to his dad. Was like, "Good job not being fuck ups and finally listening to my dad."
All right. So what number are you on? 4?
That was my Trini. That was 3. So now I'm on 4.
All right.
So for my 4th, for 4, I'm gonna go with. Just all respect to her. I'm going to go, you guys already said earlier. Well, actually, I'm going to hold off on this. I'm going to go Jason. Again, Jason, the original Red Ranger, held it down, redeemed himself later on, even though he let Tommy lose his powers later on. Later on, when he was placed in that same situation, he succeeded and overcame, so he learned from the situations. In addition to that, though, when he had to take on the power of the Green Ranger and the Red Ranger, carried it like a boss. There's a couple episodes where he controlled the T-Rex and the Dragon Zord like a boss. And then later on, when he had to come back as a Gold Ranger, there was no maybe. There was no if I can. There was no I'm here, let's get it done. Stop hating, Joe. Stop hating. Also say John.
Okay.
He wouldn't be. He's not in my top 5.
Kimberly.
There you go. Kimberly's almost unanimously in everybody's head.
Yeah.
Maybe not you, but Adam.
Fuck. I was gonna say Adam too.
You can say Adam.
Nah, fuck it, and Adam.
So what's your 5? What's your 5th? This is your last.
This is my
pick.
last one. I'm gonna try and take this right now. This is a different list than the earlier, right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. This is dead air. Hold on. I can make this work.
It's tough. There's a lot of.
You want me to go?
25 years.
I can go. Seriously, I hope.
Go.
Seriously.
You got something? Get something.
Here's the thing. I respect you guys all.
Yeah.
Choice of Kimberly. Kimberly would be in my top 5 if I haven't places order say what I asked, but she's definitely in my top 10. She's like number 6. But real talk though, I gotta give this homie credit because my number 5 is a guy who stayed on even when he wasn't a Ranger. He's a guy that stayed through all the seasons that he could, and he was someone who always kind of came back. And to be real with you, I'm interested when they start doing later seasons of the comic and introducing new Ranger teams to see will he return. I'm gonna say Billy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Producer Daniel agrees.
Okay. All right.
Billy's up there.
Wow. So, all right. Astronomer turned into a good guy, am I right?
Yes.
And she was a Pink Ranger.
Because of Andros, but yeah, you're
And
right.
that's who I'm picking.
So my next pick is for about the same reasons as yours, except a little bit more extensive. He's been on multiple seasons of Rangers, but finally got his comeuppance this season in Ninja Steel. I'm going Mick.
Oh! Interesting. Whoa!
Man.
Interesting.
Mick.
Oh, Mick is the mentor.
He's the mentor in Ninja Steel, but he also
now.
became the Red Ranger at the last episode. But
Yep.
he was in SPD, Mystic Force.
Yep.
He's been in almost all the Disney.
Oh, that dude.
And he is going to be
Respect.
at Power Morphica!
I respect that. Because I remember in SPD we had the dream of being a Ranger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom,
I respect that.
I got my fill. And I saw that Leia. I was going to say Leia. I was going to say Jen Scott. Then you yelled at us.
And now that's changed.
Because I was going to say Jen.
I mean, a top 5 list of Power Rangers is really hard, though.
Oh,
Right.
it's hard.
Especially on the spot. I haven't really
It's
thought
hard
of this.
and
Yeah.
it's truly
totally is.
it's truly objective because the thing is, one person will have one rule or list of their own versus anyone else. There's so many combinations, it's almost just daunting.
And one of the problems with it is too, let's be 100% honest, is that when these shows were developed in the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of the female characters were underdeveloped, and we still haven't got a female Red Ranger yet.
Yeah.
So when we choose Red Rangers, Blue Rangers, whatnot, the first and seconds, we get a lot of character development. It's very easy, but for our female cast members, it's a lot harder for them to get that screen time, get the character development. That's the reason why for Kimberly, who was on for 3 seasons, it's a lot easier because she got plenty of time to shine. Even her swan song when she was sent off was better than most people's.
Yeah.
Most people didn't get sent off in the same
But
way.
I think it's mainly because she made a deal. She knew when she was going to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference separated her. Here's a question I do have, because if you really think about it, is there any reason that the top 5 shouldn't be the original 5? Because out of the original 5 Rangers, who doesn't belong in your big list of iconic Rangers?
Ooh.
Every one of them are iconic. It's because they were the first.
It's really
in my opinion.
It's,
Okay, all right. Here's the thing. Help me out here, because here's the thing. Like, here's the
They're the best
thing.
team.
Here's the thing.
I don't think they're the best team.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but here's the thing. I need you guys to help for this one, though, because Joe, you asked an interesting question, but I need your help for this one, though.
right.
Because I wanted to defend this person, but I'm finding it harder to think of evidence, so help me out here. So when I think about the other 4 members, they all kind of played a role and whatnot, and this person, while he's immensely talented, he was sometimes the second in command. He even invented his own martial arts style within hip-hop Keto with Zach. That's where it gets a little bit hard at, because again, I want to support the brother, because again, he was my favorite Ranger when I was a kid, and when I meet him now, when I'm like, see Walter Jones, fist bump every single time, like bruh. But the thing about this was that, again, you bring your interesting question. It's hard for me to defend Zach, so it's gotta help me
That's
out
interesting though, because I felt like Zach's character was more ahead of his time, because he was an African American character that did take the lead, and he wasn't just a trope of an African American character. He was just a character that happened to be good at everything he did. And like in the comic, they touch on that the fact that he should have been the leader, but Jason needed it more. So I think, I mean, it's really hard to say which one of those 5. I mean, if you really, the only reason I would even put Kimberly in that category though, is because of her tenure, not necessarily what she was able to accomplish. Because if you really think about her character, she didn't grow very much.
True. To be honest with you, when I did put Kimberly, like, again, she didn't make my top 5, but when I think about that top 6 and everything like that, like she does in there, I think a lot about some of the current stuff that's happening with her in the Boom comic series.
I think that's
especially
where-
in the Go-Go Power Ranger series,
Yep.
because that's where we're seeing a lot of her character development and whatnot. And a lot of things I talked to about Kimberly, as Trini as well, some of that came from the comic series as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which we got to give a lot of praise to the creative teams behind both those books, the main Power Rangers book and the Go-Go Power Rangers books, because they're really taking the time to develop these characters. So I totally agree with you. That scene where Zordon says Jason needed more, which is why I didn't make you leader, shows the maturity of Zach. Which is the reason why, like, honestly, I'm hoping that later on, because Kimberly's got her own spin-off series, I'm hoping that brother Zach gets something. So,
But then it would have
yeah.
to be Zach and Trini, right? Because they're
Because they're a couple now, yeah.
together.
Yeah.
But so here's a better
they're
question.
real life. Well, no, like
Jay, you're gonna say Jezzer and Migdalia?
we'll go with that. I was gonna say Daniel and Tony, but that works too.
Okay.
Don't be throwing me under the bus. What you get, bro.
You gonna get yours soon enough. Watch, you gonna get
Let me
yours.
ask you guys this now.
I am my brother's keeper.
All right,
Who
watch.
was,
my brother.
which Ranger team was the best actual team, though?
Ooh.
A lot of people are jumping on the Time Force bandwagon right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
In the comments,
That's like the best team.
best team, best all-around
That's a
team.
strong. That's a strong case for that.
ooh,
Yeah.
Space.
I
because
think I
they
know.
fall apart at the end, but still came back
I
together.
don't think they fall apart.
No, it's,
Uh,
just their leader killed their mentor. That's
I got mine.
yeah.
I mean, serious thing. Like, if you look at the song, if you look at the theme song literally kind of gives it away. Stronger than before.
for.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it.
Zio.
I
I
was
actually
gonna
agree
say
with
it.
you. I think
And Zio is like the most powerful team. In fact, at the end of the series, they was like, we need to call the Zords. We don't need no sticking Zords. Boom, get big on their own. And the fact that Tommy, at that point, Tommy had matured so much as leader to the point where he was like mind control, had to fight against himself, had to fight out of that situation, everything like that. Everybody was kind of a seasoned vet. And then the fact that we did have Jason as a Gold Ranger, but then we had an alien Gold Ranger who came down who had maybe 100 years of experience potentially. So yeah, that Zio team was bomb. And again, the only there is no logical reason why they went turbo. Like, the transition to turbo makes no sense for me. So it has
What
not been
transition?
explained.
Because I'm not there yet. No.
I think Zio for sure is. I think Zio
it
is
happened in the
also
movie.
the strongest team that there ever was. Not only
Before.
here's the difference too, because right now a lot of you fans out here can say it's Time Force. Tell me the big storyline that Lucas was involved in. Go ahead, I'll wait. Great, because I mean, realistically, the whole
Damn.
team of Time Force is really based around Jen and Wes, whereas every single one of these Zeo Rangers had a purpose and had a story.
Yeah, even like
And-
every Ranger. Adam had a story. The Yellow Ranger had the story where she was doing her anxiety of leaving Africa and everything like that. Kat had a bunch of stories. Rocky had some development as well. And then Jason coming back dealt with his own issues as well. You're totally right.
I think that with every single one of those characters, even to the fact where they downgraded Rocky and it played into the story, I thought was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Kat obviously had her longing after Tommy. Tommy had his own demons to struggle with, and it was his first time really becoming a leader. Tanya had more character development than Aisha did
Yeah.
in 3 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
jeez.
I think Adam is probably one of the best developed characters in this season.
Yeah.
And you're right. When Jason comes back, I got to get. He was written very well to the point where, and Emily, he had that girlfriend Emily that was there, but he was also written to the fact where he's like, listen, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. You guys are a good team. I'm just here to help.
Exactly.
And I thought like, and you talk about maturity. It did show the character Jason's maturity of like, listen, I don't need to be the leader. I just want to be a part of the team.
I just want to be an asset.
There's a good episode I really like in this season where it's like Tommy gets like kidnapped and brainwashed.
It's the best episode. One of the best episodes.
Amazing episode. And then one of the things I really like is the scene with like with Jason and Kat, and Jason basically pointing out like, I still never forgave myself to what happened to Tom as the Green Ranger, and I'm always trying to make sure I fix that. And I'm like, that's one of the reasons I kind of love Zeo as a season. It was like the first time the show like figured out its own continuity and figured out its own history, so that it's like, oh, this is consistent now, and doesn't feel like you're trying to piece too many things together. When you look at the other 3 seasons, it's always, especially if you know the Sentai footage they took it from, it's like these, well, I guess we use some of this and then some of this, and let's see if it comes together.
They're like patchwork.
Would you say that Zeo was better than its Sentai counterpart?
Ooh, because this is one of those cases where I've only seen a couple of episodes of O-Ranger, the Sentai show, and O-Ranger is fine from what I've seen. O-Ranger is fine. It's a military Sentai show, but it didn't grab me in the first few episodes. I didn't pursue it. So I would argue, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I think Zeo's better than it.
So wait, hold on one second, real quick. So DDT Cosplay and both Blackwing are talking about Trip and his storyline. That's great, but I didn't say Trip. I said Lucas, and nobody still have come up with the storyline for Lucas of value. So, just saying.
And I will piggyback off what Justin just said, because Justin made an excellent point. Because think about the history of that show. Because when we lost the Command Center and we got the new Command Center, where you see like the pillars of the old Rangers there, you're exactly right. It acknowledges the past and history that they came from. It acknowledges how they're growing, how they're changing, but I still remember the past. And the cool thing about that development, that series, is that the writers for that season developed all the characters, but they developed all the characters so well. They had trickle down development. We saw Bulk and Skull get development, because in that great episode you talk about where Tommy gets kidnapped, Bulk and Skull also get kidnapped and low-key become heroes on that planet and start a revolution as well.
Yes.
And so the cool thing about that is that season was really about growing characters. Now, I know a lot of people say In Space is one of those titular seasons of Power Rangers, which it totally is, but Zeo is an amazing season as well. Like, if they were said that was the end of Power Rangers, that's a phenomenal way to go out.
But also Zeo was also the season where they extended plot lines, because they planted the seed of Tommy's brother back before it became Zeo. It was like when they were still in the Alien Rangers.
Oh yeah, you did
then it
that
pays off like 30
anime.
episodes later. But if you actually look at the picture of all those Rangers, Adam, Tanya, Kat, Rocky, Tommy, and Jason, it's crazy to me, because without Jason, that's a whole new generation of Rangers,
Right.
that are not the originals, like technically originally started. But adding Jason in, that's probably the most iconic group of Rangers on one team together.
That makes sense. That's actually
And
true.
low key, sadly enough, it was the last time that we had that Zordon leadership, because as we make the transition over to Turbo, that's when Zordon leaves.
Yeah.
So it was the last time we saw Zordon Alpha and those leadership roles truly like coming together. And they were fighting a brand new villain, and the Machine Empire was a dope villain. Like you said, you was talking about that character development. Sorry, that multiple like longer storytelling. When they introduced the Prince of the Machine Empire, and he was trying to take over and everything like that, he was there for a few episodes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So again, it was dope. It was good.
I do like the story in Time Force, but I do think that Zeo just was such a really well written season, especially for its time.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Zeo is that, like Rocky, he wasn't the smartest dude, and they played into that. It's like, you don't have to be a straight A student, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. But all these characters just worked so well in conjunction together.
And then real talk, though, we're forgetting one thing, because Daniel, great job of having those people on the screen, but we forgot about one person who's not there who was also part of this team.
Billy.
It's Billy. Billy. Remember when Jason gets the new Zord? Billy's one who built that new Zord and everything like that. And so they had Billy there using the expertise of his science background, working together with Alpha and Zordon to take their weapons, their technology to that next level. So when the Machine Empire came into play, they were to respond. Because it's also interesting from a storytelling standpoint, when they fought Rita, it was more of machines against magic. And then when it's the Machine Empire, you'd think it would be magic versus machines, but it wasn't. It was a fusion together of the two. The Zeo Rangers represented the balance, over they had the magic and the science merged together, whereas the Machine Empire was just focused on the science part of it, which is part of the reason why they were so victorious. They found the balance.
All right, now I want to hear, let's play a little what if you can. What if Billy never left? What would have happened?
What if Billy had never left?
What storyline wise, what do you think would have happened? Because There's the rumors that the reason, and this is like a dangling plot thread, right? Remember when the Zeo Ranger was appearing, he would just disappear, and you guys, and eventually it was revealed he wasn't the Gold Ranger. And he's like, I'm working on something really special. I'll tell you guys later. Do you think that was the turbo powers?
I hope not. Because the turbo's powers were disappointing. Here's the thing, honestly, here's the thing. You guys help me out with this again. This is a tough question.
Yeah.
When you get ready to go from Zeo to Turbo, and again, you think how powerful the Zeo Rangers were, the fact that Zeo Crystal just keeps growing in power, the only reason I could think of is that why they would have to abandon the Zeo powers and change for the Turbo powers is that the Zeo powers go so strong that it became unstable for them to keep maintaining possibly. But I don't understand, there's no logical reason for them to make this transition from Zeo to Turbo. Because every other time they lost the powers or it was destroyed, there's no reason for them to leave Zeo and go to Turbo.
Yeah, literally the only reason was, well, the next season of Sentai is a Carthian show.
right. So
and that's literally the only reason they switched to
that's
cars.
another reason why I think Tommy's one of the best Rangers ever, because how else do you go from being a race car driver to a doctor?
There it is. For sure. Yeah, I would do that one. But you know what I would say, though, honestly? So you said, hypothetically, let's say Billy never left, right? So Billy never leaves. They finish Zeo, and they go when they transition over to Turbo. So when they go to the Turbo, people going about their lives. Tommy moves on, everything like that. Billy stays in Command Center. Even when a lot of them things come into play, I think there's that situation where, remember, TJ's like, we got to destroy the Zords and blah, blah, blah. And Billy will be like, calm that Jason shit down. So, no, we're not going to do that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to reroute these things. We're going to do this things right here. I want you to pull back, and we'll figure out a solution.
If Billy were still around, do you think that they would have even brought Justin in to be the Blue Ranger, or do you think Billy would have just taken that role?
Ooh, good question.
I have a weird thought.
I think Billy would have.
No, I don't think he would have taken a role. Because I think he had become accustomed to, like, because low key at that point, Billy would have become the mentor.
That's what I think ultimately would have happened.
Here's a weird thought. What if Billy was the Blue Centurion?
I mean, there's also the rumor that Billy could have been the Phantom Ranger.
I could see that actually makes a lot of sense. The only reason I bring up Blue Centurion, blue, but I think the Phantom Ranger is a better answer.
But the other thing is that kind of makes it weird is that means that Cassie has a crush on Billy?
On Billy?
Even though he was married to some Equation?
Well, I mean, then
you said he never left. You said he never left.
The Equation answer is clearly because David just left.
Sure. So he never left. All right, so let's say he never left. So you think he would have assumed the role of the Phantom Ranger?
Or Blue Centurion?
I think one out of two things would have happened here. I think that, let's say that the turbo, those were he made the turbo powers. I think that when Jason or Tommy and them would have left, he might have been the Red Ranger.
Really?
That would have been good.
Wow. And then they would have brought in, like, maybe TJ would have been green, and maybe there wouldn't have been any Carlos, but I think maybe he would have been the Red Ranger.
I think Justin would have been there, though.
But here's another thing, too. Because
Tommy
Tommy was the only one that really wanted to leave. They just got rid of the other three.
So I'll keep it 100. So a couple things. One, getting there would be a little bit of like storytelling, like ninjutsu, because there's a whole thing about how Billy could accept the powers. Because remember, he tried to take on the gold powers, but he just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
Well, he couldn't do it because he absorbed too much negative energy when he jumped on the command center when it blew up.
I thought it was because he jumped ages and everything like that.
No, it's because he jumped on the command center. He ingested too many negative like protons.
But here's the thing, though. If you get past all that, though, and you get to Billy becoming the Red Ranger, even though he said he'd be used to not being a Ranger, but you have him become the Red Ranger, I think you get an awesome season of storytelling. Because also you have this guy who's like the science background, who has to tell these, like, who's usually like used to like support, not being in charge. Now he has to be the science person plus the action person.
Yeah.
And he has to struggle with that and leading this team of Rangers, and he has to do it without his friends to support him. There's no Trini there to translate for him now. Yeah. There's no Jason supporting his back.
At this point, he doesn't need the translation, though, because he didn't have Trini there for all the Zeo, and he was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. But I would just say this though, that him as leader would be interesting. It'd be good storytelling.
It would be.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are
I don't know. I feel that it would be interesting storytelling, but the thing is, I don't feel like he's the kind of guy that doesn't need it. If it's kind of like wrestling, right, where certain guys don't need the belt to be like champion, right? I think he really became leader when the others got turned into little kids. Because he was the leader, and then in Zeo, he's even kind of like their leader.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's actually their leader in Zeo because Tommy's still calling the shots.
No, I would agree with you because Tommy just can't always lead like Jason.
Well, no.
So I will agree with you. David Yost is probably.
Well, he wasn't because Tommy was still calling the shots. But even when Jason was a leader, he wasn't calling the shots.
He was. Don't y'all listen to him? Jason was always calling the shots.
It was always Zach or Billy to be his like governor to be like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. But I think that I don't know if he would have been the Phantom Ranger. It's just always a curiosity thing. And I know that Layla said that Chip Lynn confirmed that he was going to be the Phantom Ranger. That's actually not confirmed. I actually talked to Chip about this. That was an idea because they knew that David was never going to come back.
You know I'm bad with names. Who's Chip Lund?
He is the executive producer of Power Rangers.
Okay.
But no, I am the Phantom Ranger, guys. Who's telling you otherwise? But I do think that I don't know if I would have been cool with Billy being the Phantom Ranger. It didn't quite make sense to me. Didn't quite make sense to me. All right, so that's a fun what if. Here's another what if. What if the originals would have never left? Would they have transitioned to Zeo?
I mean, yeah.
But how would it have went? Because would
who would have taken a step down? Because you only have 5 powers.
Yeah, you only have 5 powers. So would Billy have taken a step down? And would you? And it's kind of weird to have Tommy be your Blue Ranger at that point.
Yeah.
I had a theory that if they were to step down, what they would have done, because Tommy, you can't even argue Tommy was the most popular Ranger back then. It's fact.
Yeah, he was.
So I think what would have happened is that something would have happened where they lost their powers, and Jason wasn't going to be able to get his powers, and Tommy would have become the Red Ranger, and Jason would have been like the mentor guy.
Oh, wow.
And then what I think would have happened is then he would have still been gold at the end of it anyway.
That could work, or
Yeah,
it could also easy fix. Also, could have been the fact because Tommy was also leader. So when they had to go find the individual Zeo crystals, they could have been some little thing where when you touch a Zeo crystal, it immediately bonds to you.
Right.
So Jason finds the blue crystal, it bonds with him, and he can't transfer the colors at that point because he's bonded with that Zeo crystal.
Here's another question: do you think the original 5 Rangers are only iconic because they are the original 5 Rangers?
Ooh.
I would make the argument that I think so, and it's. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like that we've talked about like there's certain characters that we've latched onto because they're there in the beginning, and also like people can identify with like Zach and Trini, etc. But at the end of the day, like their characterization written as is on the show isn't as strong as it was, as we kind of remembered it as.
Right.
So like that's why the Go-Go comic and the Mighty Morphin comic are great because they take the memory of what we thought were how those characters were written and then actually embellish it and expand upon it. But if you actually look at the show, they weren't really written as detailed as we thought they were. But because they were the first, it's easier to identify like, oh, that's what Zach is, etc. Because they were there in the beginning. It's kind of one of my theories with the movie that came out last year. And part of the reason there's a disconnect with some people who didn't want to see it is that they saw that trailer and went, who are these kids again? It's like, oh no, that's Jason, Zach, Trini. You sure? Well, no, that's their names. I get that, but is that kid Zach? Because he doesn't seem like he acts like Zach. Even if the color.
Yeah, low key though.
Color switching outside.
As you bring it up, though, for the personality traits we do know about Zach, the Black Ranger from the movie isn't really Zach.
Yeah, I think he's a good character.
Yeah,
and I think the actor did a good job.
Well, I don't think that Trini's Trini in that movie either.
Agreed. No, exactly. None of them. The closest is Billy, but even then, it's just because he's the smart one. Yeah, maybe Jason.
Yeah, maybe Jason.
I don't know. I feel like that's not Jason. Like that character that was in that movie was Tommy.
Yeah,
nah, that was totally Jason. Responsible.
Kid wasn't responsible.
Great leadership skills.
The kid wasn't really a leader.
The simplest
seems
thing,
like a Red Ranger to me.
One of the simplest things the movie could have done.
He had sleeves on. He definitely wasn't.
That's true. That's true.
Foremost,
I actually
every episode. Of
I had a whole thing about that.
Jason had a whole thing. He'd walk in the house and his father's like, "You're gonna leave the house that way? Rip out the sleeves and then send them out
You're
into
a
the world.
Scot. Scots keep their arms
You're a
open.
Scot. You show those guns." And that was it.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Were you upset about your tickets to the gun show? I was okay with my free tickets to the gun show.
There were moments where he actually blocked us off and we didn't even get to enjoy the gun show. Keep them covered, man.
Something that would have felt like if the movie did this, that would have made me go, that's a thing from Power Rangers. Was like if Billy said his Billy speak. Yeah. And Trini went, oh, that's what he means.
Yeah.
Even once. Then it would be like, oh, well, that's from the show. And that's their character dynamic.
This Jason was working so hard to make everybody.
Do you think that the movie's failure?
Joe.
What?
Before we go to the next, could I answer your first question real quick?
No.
Thank you, Joe. So, The thing about it, you asked, like, was the first team only iconic because of the first ones? And the thing about this is, though, as you ask that question, it's a really great question, and you'll think you'll get my answer. Because the thing about it is, though, like, sometimes the first is most popular because of the first, but not always the case. So with these Rangers, I don't think that's the main reason they're most popular. I think it's also because of longevity as well. Part of my reason for this, I think about, for example, the Flash. Like, people will say their most popular Flash is like Barry Allen or Wally West, even though the first Flash was actually Jay Garrick.
Right.
But for the Power Rangers, I would say part of the reason why is because they had 3 seasons for us to get to know them. They were around for so long, and we got to see, for example, like Zach's cousin, who's there, and we thought might become a Ranger.
But I feel like
we got to see like
I don't
Kimberly.
agree with that.
But we got to see Kimberly like fall off the pole and everything like that.
I don't agree with that for
trials and
Jason,
tribulations.
Trini, and Zach because they were there for a less amount of time than Adam and Rocky. Way less amount of time.
True, but they were there for 2 seasons, though, right?
Jason was there for barely a half a season.
Nah.
But Jason,
a full first season, was it?
Jason, Trini, and Zach were there for 60 episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
And then maybe 15 episodes in the second season.
Okay, so
the second season's 58 episodes.
Yeah.
And so how many episodes were there in the second season?
Like 15, 20.
15, 20. So that was that you said 78 episodes total?
I'll just tell you right now.
78 episodes, right? And how many episodes is a typical Power Ranger season today?
20.
And they usually go for like 2 seasons total, right?
40.
So 78 compared to 40.
But
Yeah,
again,
it's still-
if
still
you look at Rocky or Adam, they lasted way longer than all 3 of those guys.
They true, but
Oh.
here's the thing though. So that's the reason why I say it's a combination of things. It's a combination of the
So
fact
yeah,
that
all right. So they were there for the first. Well, actually, their characters were there for the first 28 episodes of the second season. The second season is 52 episodes. So they were about a season and a half in.
okay. So the thing about it is also part of the reason why I think people connect with them is like 1, they were the first, 2, that longevity, and 3, a lot of nostalgia because it was a lot of the first things we ever saw. Because as we were talking about the History and Hangout tonight, that's where we got to see like the first Ultra Zord. And not only that though, but it was like some of the best storylines. Like today, when we introduced 6 Rangers, like honestly, I love when we introduced 6 Rangers, but today, for me, still the best 6 Ranger introduction is Tommy. And that 5-episode thing, he like jumps the Megazord.
I don't know. I
kicks him out,
disagree.
everything like
I think the first, me personally, I think the best 6 Ranger introduction is the Gold Ranger. Because it left you with the sense of mystery on who it was. Every week it was like, is it this guy Raymond? Is it Tommy's brother? Is it Billy? I like the fact that it was a person that they were like, who is this guy?
Honestly, seriously, I agree with you. It was dope, and it was the mystery of it and everything like that. But again, this is just personal taste for me. Again, that Green Ranger of him being evil and everything. Again, was the first time we saw like an evil Ranger like that, and how he went down. And again, the fact that he could best Jason and like martial arts. In fact, he did beat Jason, which was the first.
Because it was better than Jason. You said it, not me.
No. So
he bested Jason. Did you not say that?
yes, I did.
All right. So, then
yes,
he's
I did.
better.
So let me
He
clarify.
bested Jason.
Tommy bested Jason when he was
Jason
evil
because
in
he
the
is
green uniform.
the
However,
best.
in the martial arts introduction, when they were in the tournament, when Tommy came into town thinking he was hot stuff, and then he ran to Jason, and Jason gave him a job application and gave him that work. He took an L right there. And then later at the end of that 5 episode arc, where Jason had to give him that work again to make him good,
Well, technically-
Jason beat him so bad
it was-
he made him good.
That was 5
Jason
on 1.
literally beat
5
the evil out of him.
on 1. 5 on 1. It took 5 of them to beat 1 of them.
And who gave
you
the
know what?
finishing blow?
But it's just-
Who
let's
gave the
be
finishing
honest,
blow?
let's be honest.
Honest,
To take care of
the
all the
Rangers were more afraid of Tommy turning evil than they ever were of Rita. Let's be honest about it. It was always like, we got to keep this guy on our side because I'm scared. I will shit my pants if we have to fight him again.
But again, here's the thing. I would agree with you with that because again, to this day, that iconic image of them like being the Zord, him jumping in like, "Hey, what's it?" If he was like, "What's up, bitches?" It's like, "Wait, what?" And then kicks them all out and kicks them out of their own Zord.
Yeah.
Again, iconic to me. But I will be real with you. The Gold Ranger introduction. It's up there with me. Like it's one of the best 6 Ranger introductions.
Dude.
After that, my next 6 Ranger introduction, even with Power Rangers, I have to go to Sentai for
I
it.
do love that, like, that is always the moment that everyone agrees in that Green Ranger saga is the moment that he gets in the Megazord and punches them out. All of us went, you can do that? Like,
Exactly.
that just like, the
Yeah,
to
Daniel
this
keeps wanting to reenact that.
No. Not only that though, but the fact when he opens that door, you're like, "There's a door back there."
Because he was like, all right, and go. He opens the door and he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Bah!
freedom punch. And, and
The Yellow Ranger just goes flying.
Yeah.
No.
You can literally.
Her head hits the console and it goes, wow, oh, and she falls off. And he just with him going one punch, He laid her out.
You can literally take that Tommy open the door and put any audio on it. It just becomes more amazing. You were like, oh yeah. Another one, surprise, motherfucker. Like you can literally cut any audio over that, and it just gets better and better every time.
No, you just started a meme. You should do that, internet.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Hey, kids.
We're gonna wrap up with this final question: who has the best Ranger suit of all time?
Out of all the seasons?
Me personally, it's a toss-up between the White Ranger and the Gold Ranger.
Okay.
I agree.
I think the Gold Ranger suit looks so good.
I love the Gold Ranger's shield, but Tommy's White Ranger one looks more battle ready because it has that under portion. So it's like, I'm not gonna get a shiv. I'm still protecting stuff. It looks like it.
And also, I
it's
like
far more solid.
at the time I didn't know Die Ranger was a thing.
Right.
So I was like, oh, he looks completely different than everybody.
It's because you have a different show altogether. But I would say White Ranger really stuck out for me. And even before I really saw what Die Ranger was, like the fact that even his the silver part of his helmet is this cool metal
no
mouth guard thing.
Dude, you know what? It's like a Saiyan shield.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a Saiyan shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I love it so much.
He looks like a member
I
of
never
Frieza's army.
realized. Yeah, he does. He's like, yeah, get you force.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
No, so
He's
the
even
White
striking the
Ranger,
pose right now.
That's it. I figured it out.
White Ranger suit's
White
great.
Ranger suit's the best.
Looks great.
For me, I agree with you guys. Honestly, for me though, I agree with Joe. It's the Gold Zeo Ranger suit. It always looks amazing to me. And then what's really dope too, though, if you ever seen it drawn, the intricate details that go into it, because in the Corin Shattered Grid storyline, there's a couple he shows up and there's a cover with him on there and everything like that. We see all the extra details that are in there because it's weird because when they're filming it and it's just black, you don't see some of those intricacies that go into the costume, with the helmet design. The fact that the Triforia thing is on there on the helmet, it looks really dope. And again, there's also no mouth. And then when you look at all the designs on them, that's actually a lot of Egyptian influence.
Something else I never knew about the Zeo suits, and I can't believe I was so bummed out
That's all the thing with Zeo.
But it pointed out the reason why it was Zeo Ranger 1 through 5 is because Zeo Ranger 1 had an oval, which is
Yeah.
Then there was the
5 stars. Yeah,
That's why
5.
all of them were
exactly.
points. I was like, oh, I never.
And then that's why the 6 Ranger is 1 6.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I love it's toss up that White Ranger suit and that Gold Ranger suit.
Hey, Jay, can we get the Gold Ranger suit on there? But can we get the comic book version if you got it, please? Thank you, producer. Just throw it on there. I'm sorry, producer Dan. I asked too
Kind of looks like
much.
the Gold Toe.
So sick.
That's true. I'll get
That's
that.
cool, but it doesn't look like he would wear the gold toes. Looks like the White Ranger would.
But you know what was also cool about this too is that he had gold knee pads.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Those knee pads were dope too.
Now
and then,
that's-
I love the little arm things right here, the little arm
Little
bands
bands,
right here. Yeah.
But you're so right about the whole Egyptian thing. Oh my gosh.
When you look
How-
across the shield, all those extra
And you
intricacies.
notice the other part right there. What they are, they're two circles.
Yeah.
The shield is pretty much put on it's here goes one circle, here goes another circle, and they overlap.
Well, that's kind of
onto
It
them.
looks like when he shows up, he's like, "What's up, Hoteps?"
Yes.
And he
Yeah,
just
oh
starts
my
going to
god,
work.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, that's the fun thing about the show, the Sentai show they came from, O Ranger. That's where the idea of the suits are based off of Egyptian and Mayan costumes,
Wow.
and then
Look how clean that suit
yeah,
is.
it
It
looks
does.
good.
It's just dope.
I didn't realize
It's just
it. I
dope.
didn't realize
Here's
how
the
good
real
it
talk
is.
though. If I had to wear that for Halloween, I'd be wearing that for Halloween.
That suit actually has more protection than the Gold Ranger.
Well, I also think
because it
that-
goes lower.
I also think
more
that
pimp, too.
one of the cooler things too is that when Zach got the Gold Ranger shield in Mighty Morphin, I have a feeling that was a test look for this. Because the aesthetic is very similar, and black and gold just go so well
It
together.
does. It's
Gold
classic
goes
color.
great.
yeah.
But so do green and gold, surprisingly, which you wouldn't expect.
Actually, but you know what? Red and
goes very
gold
well.
goes really well together. Red and gold goes really well together.
I want to.
No.
Also, the fun thing is, if you didn't,
Only on Zeo Ranger 5.
if you guys, in case you guys didn't
Nah, I didn't
know,
notice that.
O Ranger's King Ranger is also a child who turns into an
Wait,
adult.
really? Wait. This was a child?
Yes, much like in
Not a
Die.
pervy.
No, not like the awful one in Die
okay,
Ranger.
Okay, thank you.
Not pervy one in Die Ranger.
isn't-
who-
Isn't
By the way, though, I have to be real though.
he will be at Morphicon.
He will be.
The kid who plays Cuba Ranger will be at Morphicon.
Here's the thing. I'm
You
not.
are interviewing him.
That's what
we need that.
I was told that I should interview him.
You
Like, I
should. You
would
should.
definitely.
And by the way,
I
if
would
people
interview
haven't seen your video, you do a video where you talk about him, and it is one of the best videos. There's some great clip footage from that. And I'll be real, I never wanted to watch Old Ranger till I saw that.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Old Ranger.
Die
that was Die Ranger. And I was like, I really want to watch Die Ranger now for this kid.
Oh, no.
Because he looks hilarious.
Even besides that, Die Ranger is a wild show.
It seems like it.
Yeah. But this guy is
on Power Rangers. There's an episode recently we just watched it with the Gold Ranger. Oh, he's so happy he got control of something. He goes, all right, yeah. Like,
when both times he starts jumping up and down.
Yeah. He goes, yeah. And I was like, I can see why he was a kid. Like, remember, we just watched that episode, and the Gold Ranger, the White Ranger goes like,
It just seems so
oh yeah, like that. And I was like,
why would Tommy do that?
Why?
Exactly. Tommy jumping like,
I've never seen Tommy do that
go.
in life.
It was just so
was
different
like, that's
when he's like being so serious as the Green Angel. Like, come on, Saba, we got to get it together.
Saba, we've got to blow up.
FYI,
Okay, I'll help you.
King Ranger and O Ranger, even as a kid, he was a lot more of a serious character and not a perv. So that's why the footage matched a lot better in CO.
I will say this too, though. Like real talk, though, as we talk about the Zords and everything like that.
Yeah.
Pure Midas was dope, but that White Tiger Zord was
the White Tiger
badass. Was badass. I love the fact that he had those little orbs behind him. When you put in there, shoot lightning bolts and stuff out. That White Tiger Zord was badass.
Yeah, I also love the Dragon Zord. That
Oh,
red
Dragon Zord.
is-
Like to this day, we're going to be doing next week on Hitchin Hangout. We're going to talk about some of our moments about why we love Gokaiger so much. But one of my reasons why I love it is because again, I love Guy and I love his Dragon Zord.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a little homage to the Dragon Zord and the Chrono Rex from Time Force.
Q-Rex.
The Q-Rex, and everything like that. So it's a nice like mixture of those two together.
Absolutely.
I do think my favorite Zord of all time is the White Tiger Zord, though. It looks pretty cool.
Looks great.
And low-key reminds me. Part of the reason why I like it is because it reminds me of one of my favorite like mech animes, Zoids, which uses a white liger and everything like that. So it's a little bit similar.
The more and more I stare at this, it's just like, this suit is dope.
I told you.
Those knee pads are sick.
Exactly.
They are.
And
The whole suit
and
is
then the
dope.
Egyptian influence up top and everything like that, and the whole shit.
Well, yeah, even
badass.
the design on his gloves, like his cuffs,
yeah.
like detail.
It's such an original design.
I know. I think that this is one of my favorite looking suits of all time.
Sure.
So,
And I still love the staff as a weapon though. Like when it opens up, it just shoots out those blasts and everything.
Oh man.
all right, guys. So I know Johnny has brunch tomorrow with Jezzer's family in Magdalia. So we're gonna sign out tonight.
How'd you get on that list?
Hitchin Bros.
I'm on a waiting list.
I'm on the same show and I still haven't gotten an email.
We tell you to come on a regular basis.
No, you don't. Let me check right now. What the
Why
heck?
am I on a waiting list for the Jezzer brunch? What is going on here? He said I'm like number 10. How
So
does that-
guys,
who-
we're gonna
who are
wrap
the
up
9
tonight.
people ahead of me?
He invited me when I went to Cosplay Masquerade. Next year, everyone come to Cosplay
I go to
Masquerade.
that-
You get to
well,
go to the family brunch.
I'm glad I didn't go. He didn't even place. So like, it would have been a waste of my
he
time.
did a good job.
He did a
He
great
put his
job.
heart out there.
He did a great
Did
job.
he place?
He even did a
You know
show.
what? Jezzer was the Tommy of that show. He tried his best.
That's a Jason.
Wow.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Tommy doesn't settle for second, obviously. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up here tonight. Where can everybody find you on the social media networks?
Twitter at Justin Keys on Instagram at Justin Quiz. My 2 podcasts I keep talking
go
about.
ahead, do it again.
You always
It's a
let me.
good plug.
You always have
Good
to do
plug.
It. Fine. Okay. Nothing new. A remake podcast. This month's episode will be on Fahrenheit 451, and I've already now mentioned this 2 other shows tonight. So I'll mention it again. I am retiring Benview on Spielberg with my co-host, and we're both decided we're going to move on to do a new show later, but we're going to retire the Spielberg show, and you have to download that episode this month to find out why and what the future project we'll be working on. And yeah, you could also, I plugged Zero, but I'll plug it again, sure. I also did a guest spot on this week's episode of Ready, Set, Geek. You can download that episode. It is absolutely about Power Rangers. And Shining Yusha, a comic I co-wrote with my friend. That's available for free. What's the price again, dudes?
Free 99.
Free. That's free, not 3. Free.
Free
99.
99.
They're free.
Thank you.
You can find me at that hashtag Joe on all social media.
You can find me at
So short.
Battlestar Galactica or Twitter with that hashtag BSJ.
And you can find me at Johnny P313 on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me at Palm Springs Comic Con later on in the month. And you can find me at Rose City Comic Con in the first week of September.
And you can find Jezzer right now, Instagram Live.
Yeah, that's right.
With
with guests.
With guests.
With special guests.
special guests.
With family and
That's
special
Jezzer.
guests.
Yes.
Jezzer Zeus. And we have an update on Power Rangers Cosmic Protectors that I'll show you guys in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on After Dark right here on pop culture renegades, the real pop culture renegades right here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow with the Henshin Hangout. And if you're a Star Wars fan, Star Wars Fanatics, we're finishing up Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then we're going to be right into Season 3, the last season of Mighty Morphin. But come and join me, Ellen, Daniel tomorrow, right here live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
Renegades out.